So welcome back. We continue from where we left off. We're talking about the importance of work songs, particularly what we call occupational poetry, the poetry that is performed when people are working just to lighten their labor, as it helps them work in unison, and at the same time it helps them focus more on the poetry than on the work, and it helps work move forward. Now, what can we say about this? Well, I think basically we can just say it is important because it helps people get the labor, done. It gets the work done. But what's interesting is that this poetry does not really have an audience. So it doesn't have an audience. And yet, on the other hand, we have a poetry, which I'd like to refer to now, which is still in the group of work poetry that happens chiefly in Lundazi area amongst Tumbuka people. I don't know about other cultures. We call this poetry pounding songs. Okay, so pounding songs are very important. Okay, let me just take this call because someone is looking for me and they're supposed to come to my office. So, yes, Tarek. Yes, yes. Okay, just come to the office. You'll find me. Yes, I'm in the office. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so pounding songs play a huge role in the lives of Tumbuka people. Maybe a little information on Tumbukas. Tumbukas are people who follow the patrilineal system. Okay, it's the males or the sons who inherit their fathers. Remember, yesterday we were talking about the Chewas. We said that the Chewas are inherited by their nephews, but with Tumbukas it's different. So amongst the Chewas, when I marry a woman who is Chewa, I'm going to move to her village. But with Tumbukas it's different. The woman moves to the man's village. So as she moves to this village, she has to prove to the family that she's been well trained. Okay, she was well trained by her parents. She's hardworking and she's well behaved. There's just everything that is said about this woman. And because of that, the woman feels like, she is a slave in this place. Like she's a slave in this village. For instance, one thing we believe in Tumbukaland is that when you get married to us, you are not married to the individual, you are married to the family. So whatever children you're going to have, they belong to the family. That's the reason if, for instance, your husband can't make you pregnant amongst Tumbukas, then we'll ask a closest relative, particularly the brother to your husband, or even his cousin, to make you pregnant. I'm sure you will agree with me that that's the reason if a woman can't have children, society usually blames it on the women. You understand that, right? Most of the times, if you can't have a child, society blames you. It's a very unfair system, but again, it's because they know that the woman has power over, the whole system of life. Okay, a woman will get pregnant unless she's unable to have children. She doesn't really need her husband to get pregnant. It's just whoever is the right person. So if I can't make my wife pregnant, then they'll talk to my brother. Of course, the one who is closest to me, either immediate older or immediate younger brother. And he will make my wife pregnant. Maybe I won't even know it, but elders in the family will know. But in other cases, no one will know, only the woman will know to say the child is that one's and not this one's. So because of that, women feel that they are treated like objects. Why is it that any one of them can sleep with me because they want me to get pregnant? They're treated like objects. That's how they feel. That is how they view it. So they don't love it. But remember, this is not their village. They come from another village. They've been married to this village. So they have to give this village children. And if she tries, she still can't have children, then she has to bring her sister or her niece to, so that this man can have children with her. So this makes them feel very bad. It's really bad for them, and they are not happy with the status quo. But that is not all, ladies and gentlemen. This woman has to feed the family. So she has to get up very early in the morning, go to the river, draw water, come home, sweep the compound, ensure that everything is in place before they go to the field. While they're at the field, she has to ensure that on their way back, she carries some, firewood on the head, and she has in the basket, there is some relish because she's got some vegetables here and there, gets home, prepares food. Everyone has to eat. So she does everything. And for this reason, she feels that she's not being treated like a human being. She's being treated like a slave. And now, how can she speak out? How can she say she's not happy about all these things? It is at this point that pounding songs come in. So pounding songs are used, by women to say what they do not like. So women use these pounding songs to share their views. Now there is what we call the poetic license. This is authority you have not to be questioned because you're merely singing the song. Okay, you're merely singing the song. You're not saying anything. Okay. So, for instance, you say, kupura kubaba ngatungaranga waka hoya iwe ine soirengemo wale pampando mulamu wako nizonguka na ine kanalumeko kwerekera hoya iwe ye njani wani hare. Okay, so you're just saying these things and you're singing a song. You're not saying anything, but people can hear that you're complaining to say, you are pounding, you are doing all this work and no one is there, helping you. Your sister-in-law is seated there while you are working, and then she wants to eat at the end of the day. Then you're even thinking, who is it that is going to inherit me when my husband dies? Okay, you think these people are lazy. It's a family of lazy people, so why should I be there? Okay, so there are all those problems, and now you have to bring them out to the pounding song. So we say that pounding songs are there to challenge the status quo. No one can sanction you for singing even the most explicit of pounding songs. And this pounding takes place usually around 3 to 4 in the morning. So it's very quiet. Okay? So as you are singing, everyone can hear you. And if you are clever, you ensure that you don't pound alone. You bring in other people. You start singing together. And you are all village. You're not members of this village. You've just been married to the village. So you are free to sing about anything. You are free to insult everyone in the village. This is the time that women can now insult their parents-in-law. You can insult your mother-in-law. You can insult your father-in-law, and no one is going to say anything. I remember my mother telling me that, I don't know if it was her father-in-law or her father was complaining and say, ish, you people really insult us in these songs. Right? But there's nothing you can do. You just say that, it ends there because you don't have authority. It's the poem, okay? It's the poem that is speaking. But you see that by performing this poetry, women feel that they have power. They have power to speak out. They have power to say what no one else can say. And this is the same thing that we encounter when we get to Chewaland, when we look at Gule Wamkulu. In Chewaland, through Gule Wamkulu, men who are married to Chewa women and who have no status in these villages can actually insult their parents-in-law. So he can go to the mother-in-law, Iwe garu chokapa. The mother-in-law will not know that it is her son-in-law because he has a mask, so he can do anything. So we see that we have mechanisms within our cultural spaces that help give power to those people who are seen to be weak, those who cannot easily, voice themselves out. And in Tumbukaland, it is these pounding songs. So through pounding songs, they can speak out, they can say anything that they want to say, and no one is going to question them, no one is going to sanction them. They have the power. It is what we call the poetic license. Then from there, let me, I think, move to an area that I love quite a lot, and it is that of the praise poetry, okay? particularly royal praise poetry, which we call panegyric poetry. You will agree with me that many times when you have attended these traditional ceremonies, you have encountered people singing praises. So we have a poem performed for the king or the chief, all right? Almost every cultural grouping has that. And this is just meant to, to raise the profile of the chief. Now, I'm going to try to zero in on Ngoni poetry, though I'll pick it up from the angle of Zulu poetry, Zulu praise poetry. Let's start by looking at the culture of Zulus. What I've taught about Tumbukas is not very different from Ngonis. I have Ngoni blood in me, and I have to mention to you that Ngonis are very proud people. We are very proud, okay? We love showing off. And this idea of showing off is also found amongst Southerners, Tongas. So Tongas and us Ngonis are very much the same. We love showing off. We boast about anything. Actually, in my culture, we even boast about the number of women we have. So the more women you have, well, the more powerful you are. It's allowed, actually, for us, it's allowed to marry as many women as we can take care of. Actually, that's one of the reasons we talked about, those pounding songs, because women do not really like that, okay? So Ngonis are very proud, they're very colorful. When we are young, we are encouraged actually to date as many girls as possible so that you can choose. I'm sure you will agree with me, is that it's not possible to choose from one person, okay? How do you say, I chose her, when she's the only person you were dating, which most of you people do, and that's why I pity Bembas. They will have one person say, I've chosen her from her. How can you choose her from her? You need to choose from many. So Bembas have a challenge, but we understand them. That's why we try to train them every now and again as they are superior brothers. We are superior to them. So we always try to help the Bembas in that particular case. So with us, we show off. We show off in using almost every situation that we have. And that's why when we start growing a little older, we have what we call kugia. Kugia is a case where you have your spear and your shield on, in the left hand, and you start dancing. And while that is happening, your friends will be singing praises for you, okay? They'll say the things that you can do. For instance, they'll say, Analume ngao ngao, okwera chimuti na manja mtumba. I don't know if you've heard that before. Analume ngao ngao, okwera chimuti na manja mtumba, meaning, a real man who can climb a tree with hands in his pockets. Okay, now you see that is not real. That cannot really happen. But it shows just how great you are because you can do the impossible. All right? There is a friend of mine who used to wet the bed. But with him, that was not a problem. With him, that was a point, of strength. Okay, just a moment. Let me take this call just in case someone is trying to know. Yes, Tarek. So this young man used to wet the bed. And when people laugh at him, what does he say? He says, no, send sanalume ngao ngao. Analume ngao ngao, otunda choyona. So he says, nirigone but nitunda. The rest of you need to stand when urinating. Yes, Tarek. Okay, I'm coming to open it. All right, so just give me one moment. Let me just open my door for someone who is coming. So you can now chat. You can continue your chat. I'll be coming back in 2 minutes.
Hello, people.
Hi. Hello, people. Hello.
I hope you are not taking us as a way of insulting us. That's the way of insulting.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm back. I hope you chatted and shared your secrets. I don't want to be listening to your secrets.
No,
So,
that's Mr. Chanda was saying Antana Rumengayo Ngayo Uliza Mfiori na Mkoyo Mkamwa.
it's true. Yes, we have that. Ano mengaonga uliza mshori na mkoyo mkamwa. But that one was just copied by Bembas because they don't have their own. Mkoyo comes from Bembas. Huh? So they had to get something because they don't have any praises. Bembas have nothing. Everything comes from Eastern Province. So we have another mengaonga. Someone says another mengaonga ochova njinga kuchikweza ochova njinga iliye chain kuchikweza. So you can imagine a bicycle doesn't have that chain, but then he's able to cycle it uphill. Okay. Then there is someone says another mengaonga okunya pamanzi tishu ni ngwena. So you can imagine okunya pamanzi tishu ni ngwena. Ngwena ndiye kiri in the bottom. That is how great they are. There's one I liked which says analumengao analumengao okudya nzimbe na straw. You know that straw that we use for drinking. But that one, that's what they use on the sugar cane. So those, it just shows how great they are. Now, when you get all these praises, these statements, okay, each person has his own, okay? So once you are known, once your peers know how great you are or the areas of your strength, then they make use of those same areas to praise you, to create praises about you. And they'll be using them. So they'll get all those praises. When we put them together, then it becomes your praise poem. So these are said by different people, okay, amongst your friends. This one says that, this one says that. Then when we put them together, we have a praise poem. So that's how a praise poem is created. And the praise poem is chiefly for the chief or king. And apart from chief or king, it is also for members of society who have achieved high status. Okay, it could be due to wealth or due to wisdom, due to what they can do. So when they achieve that high status, then they have their own praises. The chief always has his own praise singer. And the praise singer to the chief, the son to the chief's praise singer, also sings praises for the chief's son, who is the prince. Meaning when the chief leaves office, the prince takes over. It is the son to the chief's praise singer who becomes the praise singer of the next chief. So as the chief is inherited by his son, the praise singer is equally inherited by his son. So it continues in the same bloodline. And these same praise, praise poems, I should mention, are usually a continuation. So if there is a praise poem about me, then there'll be a praise poem about my son. But the praise singer, the one who sings praises for my son, will firstly have to sing the praises for me before they sing for my son. And therefore, before they sing the praise for my son's son, they'll sing my praise, then my son's praise, then my son's son's praise. So through the praise poem, we can actually interact with the history of a people, because you need to start from the very beginning. So you sing praises, it's continuous. That's why praise poems are very long. And the performers of these praise poems need to have a very good memory, because they have to remember all those praises. So by studying praise poems, we're able to study the history of a people. Okay, we're able to know about them. Then I should mention again that these praise poems actually are meant to present, the subject of the poem as a subject of perfection. It's a perfect being, okay? The best you can think of, the best person. That's the subject of the poem. So if it's the chief, the chief is presented with perfection, the greatest you can think of. That is how the chief is. But then it is also only the praise singer who can criticize the chief. So the praise singer can say what is wrong with the chief through the song, through the poem. The praise singer will say, no, chief, we are not happy about what you are doing. We think that this is not right. You shouldn't be doing this. We will not support this. It is only through the poem. Outside the poem, he will not have that authority. He will not be able to do that. That's why we talked about the poetic license earlier. So it cuts across a lot. The poetic license is used by the poet to share anything that they can talk about. So if the chief is unfair, for instance, in his dispensing of justice, he's not able to take care of his visitors, he's not able to share food with the people, those people that I need, then the praise poet has to come in and point those things out. So that is how that poetry works. Any quick reflections on this before we move to the proverb? No, I think we won't move to the proverb. I'm getting tired now. Any reflections on that? I know there's another poetry. Okay, don't come in. I think come in at the end. We'll have to end this in 7 minutes. But let me talk further about songs. Yesterday, when we discussed oral prose narratives, I did not point out the fact that apart from those narratives, okay, actually one aspect of those narratives is the song. So most of those narratives have a song in them. This song is performed by both the teller and the audience. So the audience is part of the performance in that they need to respond. So when the song starts, then you'll be asked to say you should respond like this. So for instance, someone, the storyteller says, okay, then the woman started singing. So then the audience sings Tavavula, Kamdoti, Tavavula, Kamdoti, we, Tavavula. So the audience says Tavavula. This ensures that the audience is part of the narrative. The audience is following. The moment the song starts, they have to come in to respond. So the poem is not restricted to, to poetry alone. It is still part of prose through the narrative. In the narrative, we have the poetic representation in the song that is part of the narrative. So poems are found in narratives as well. They are found in games as children are playing. So during play, we have poems in there. We have poems at funerals. We have poems during parties, beer parties, when people are having parties, they sing songs. We have poems during marriage ceremonies. I remember attending, the marriage ceremony, not really marriage, but we call it mova. Members have what they call mateveto, but if what we give is beer, so when a man has taken very good care of a woman, then her family will bring beer, so they'll bring more. I remember a very beautiful song where I say, "Asevere pikane winu mova, ngwizana ngaone aseveri, severele nkune." So asevere is someone that I can play with. So I said, "Pikane winu mova," I say, "No, ngwizanao." So ngwizanao mova, I'm bringing the beer. It's appreciation. We are playing together. We are now friends because of the marriage of our children. So we have a lot of songs that are performed during those events. In short, we have songs through and through. Almost every dance you can think of, Muganda, Vimbuza, Chiwoda, Fuemba, all those have songs. They're not performed without songs. So songs are performed during any form of dance you can think of. We have songs. During prayer sessions, we have songs. So the song, which is the poem, plays a huge role in the lives of our people. It's part of life. We can't do without it. And that's why I think you'll realize that most musicians, even in modern circles, are very famous because of how powerful the song is in the lives of the people. So we need that. When we meet this afternoon, should be at 15 hours. Before we get into written poetry, we will finalize by looking at the proverb and the riddle. I think I need to get some rest now. I've just been drinking tea. I haven't eaten anything since morning, so I'm starving. I have to feed myself as well. It's been a roller coaster 2 hours. We have 3 minutes in which I can get my reflections. I mean, your reflections. So we can now hear from you. Comments, ladies and gentlemen. Yes,
I would like just to appreciate your lecture by saying that literature, as you have put it, is found in all aspects of life. And what I appreciated most is when we were talking about children's poetry performed by or for the children. Now, the children are also part of the audience, I would say. This will be seen in the way they respond.
Yes.
Yes. And you'll find the child would sing. That means now, that is in line with the song. But when it comes to funerals or any situation, imagine the so-called monks. They always speak English, what. But when he's beaten, he would speak in his own mother tongue.
Yes.
You see?
Yes,
so that helps me understand and see that, yes, it is in all aspects of life and it is done on a daily basis. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's very true. My daughter, almost always, the firstborn particularly, if she wants to sleep, she would insist, telling her mother, "Mami, nyimbo," because of course I never wanted to speak, to my daughter in English. I forbid everyone. Okay, I said, don't use English with my daughter. She'll learn English at school. Here at home, she's going to use Nyanja and Tumbuka. So every time katika funo gona, she would say, "Mami, nyimbo." Then wakaimbira nyimbo kagona. So she really loved listening to songs because that's how it is. And if you pay attention, almost every child is like that. They love listening to these songs. So we just have to go on singing for them. Okay, next comment. Yes, Mpaso, I see your hand is up.
Thank you so much for the lecture. I think on my reflections, it has also helped me reflect on a lot of things and realize that we interact with the literature every now and then. Yes. I was even laughing at myself as an artist. Certain things, I didn't even see them as literature. But I think this lecture has been an eye-opener. And even simple things as even children playing, singing those songs as part of literature. Yes. It's really an eye-opener.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's very correct. We do not know, okay, that it's literature until we are told, or we see that it's there. And that's how we get to know that actually this is what defines us. It's part of our culture. It is who we are. The more we pay attention to them, the more we become more aware of ourselves, the more we get to lead more fulfilled lives. Because, right now, the way we are, you find that we are more, on a journey of searching. Who are we? Where are we? Okay, but then when we really open ourselves up to the experiences that we can have, we become more aware of who we are and we enjoy our lives even more without knowing it. My argument always is speak to someone in their language and you will see. Just imagine you are seated on a bus. Okay, I remember I was with my professor in London. We were going to Finland. Okay. Airport, Heathrow International Airport. And there's, the majority are whites, very few blacks. And then I hear two guys speaking Tumbuka in Heathrow. You have no idea how I felt. I said, Tumbukas? And then immediately I went to, to talk to them. And we started laughing. They were from Malawi, I was from Zambia. But it felt as though we're coming from the same home, okay? You get close because this one is speaking to you. So speak to people in their language, okay? Use their language, interact with them. You will see they're going to appreciate it. Get people to see who they are. It feels good, it feels great. So just pay attention to all these children's songs, children's games, you just stand and watch. The problem is that but just pay attention. It's so interesting. You see the songs that you used to sing when you were young, the games you used to play when you were young, the games being played by children. It feels great. It defines you. You see how great you are. I said, this is who I am. And then you realize that even these PlayStations you're buying do not really satisfy you. as these games that we play, as children do. So our lives are really complex. Any other comment? We have less than 6 minutes actually, according to Zoom themselves. Any other comments? No one is raising their hand. This time is just for interaction, unless Mwalimu Maning Naimwe. But you haven't been talking, so I'm the one who should be tired here. Some of you have been eating, you have been, hidden your videos so that you can be eating, but I can't eat. So let me hear you talk. I think the people that have talked, Enoch, Baso, Martha didn't even, Faith didn't respond. Did Martha say something? I can't remember, but Annie said something. Yeah. Who else said something? Chanda, missing now? Yes, not here. Julie only spoke to her friends. Yes. Did Bridget something? I can't remember. Okay, so I don't know, yeah. So yeah, this is your time now. Please say something. It's your time to contribute. Any comments? Neither you are failing to mute yourself. This is the time that you can use the unmute button. Okay. Kulibele nangu? Mwalema Monse? Okay, so if there's anything, you guys have my number. You can always interact with me. I'm part of the WhatsApp group, but you can also call me. I've shared the number there, 0974 17 50 82 175 082. So you can reach me on that number. Our next meeting will be at 15 hours, and that will be our last meeting for this residential school. I assume there isn't anything else to talk about. I would like to thank you for being active in today's discussions, and also for being able to see that actually what we're talking about is our daily lives, everything that we are. So there's nothing special about literature. It's just ourselves. So there's literally nothing new. Literally nothing new. These are things that you have encountered on a daily basis. All you do now is just become a little more aware of them. And when you become a little more aware of them, you appreciate them more. And when you appreciate them more, your life gets more meaningful and more realistic and more enjoyable. And that is what we want. We just want you to be different by the time we are done with this program. By the time you're in 4th year, and when you're leaving, you should be different from the person you were before you joined us. And my hope is that by the time we are done with, with our session this afternoon, you will be a different person. That's what I want. I want you to be different. I do not want you to be the same. Okay, you have to be different and explore, because what I talked about, I think, were just bits and pieces. I was just speaking from all over, but you will now try to delve much deeper into your cultural space, try to look at your cultural heritage and say, yes, this is who I am. Okay, so even if you are a hopeless Bemba, I'm sorry, Bembas, you are really hopeless people, but there's nothing we can do about it. So we'll try to help you. That's why we have Easterners to help you guys, so that you can be civilized. So just come to us, we'll civilize you. All right, so thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed being with you. Let's meet at 15 hours right here. I will send the link earlier this time around. So thank you so much once again. Thank you very much for being actively involved. And take care of yourselves. Bye-bye, Mr. Chandale. I can see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ndani mdala ngakumuni.